that plane crash. That plane went down just off Highway 395 near downtown Walker just before 3 this afternoon.
That is less than 2 hours after the people of Walker were allowed to return to their homes. Our own Curtis Ming was there when the plane went down. Curtis, what can you tell us at this hour?
Well, John, to the best account we got from anybody, this plane looked like a torpedo as it just crashed straight down into a field. We're going to show you that video once again from a few minutes before. This was the final trip that plane took, and then the videographer, who asked us not to use his name, got the image of it crashing into the ground. And once again, we must warn you, some of the words that were used here are profane. Small children, you might want to close their ears, plug their ears as we listen to this. Let's roll that tape now.
Oh, got him. Right on. Yeah. Oh. Oh, shit. Oh, I just got it on film. Oh, no.
It's unclear what went wrong here, but what witnesses are telling us, they believe part of the tail came off this plane just after it dumped retardant. Then we're told, actually we know that as this plane was going down, both wings literally buckled straight up, broke straight off as it crashed into the ground, bursting into a ball of flames. Quite a scene out here this afternoon.
West off Highway 395 near downtown Walker just before 3 o'clock this afternoon.
That is less than 2 hours after the people of Walker were allowed to return to their homes. Our own Curtis Ming was there when the plane went down. Curtis, what can you tell us?
Well, first off, let me tell you, Wendy and John, we spoke with a sheriff's official, and he says that at this point, he knows that no ambulances left that scene after that plane went down. So it does appear whoever was on board possibly did not survive that. We're told anywhere between 1 and 3 people may have been aboard that air tanker when it did go down. Behind me right now, you can still see some smoke behind there. That fire started after the tanker went down. It's still burning through a field. It's burning through several homes, and they have evacuated several homes as well. Let's show you that video, though, of that torpedo. What was described as a torpedo crashing into a grass field. Witnesses say both wings were on fire as it went down, as it dove nose down into a field right to the east of 395 here in Walker. Both of those wings broke right off of the plane. Just broke off the plane, and it went straight down, crashed into the field, exploded into a ball of flames. The reaction after that, people were screaming, people were crying, saying, "Oh my God, what did I just see?" For many, they described that it looked much like a movie. Even myself, I could tell you my account. I was on the phone just a couple hundred yards away from that field, making a call to the station, when somebody screamed, "Run for your life." At that point, I heard 2 loud explosions, and it was at that point I heard somebody say a plane had caught fire. We were running, getting the camera, and running down there to see what we could see, and it was just a devastating sight. A huge ball of flames, a black plume of smoke that just rose very quickly up into the air. It's unclear at this point whether anybody was standing in that field. One witness said they thought somebody may have, but we haven't gotten any confirmation on that. But once again, anywhere between 1 and 3 people may have been in that air tanker at the time it crashed. And a sheriff's official says no ambulance has left that site, which leads us to believe that no one possibly could have survived that collision. And we do want to tell you right now that down the road here just a bit, they are keeping us back because the fire is still burning and could burn toward us. But on the road, there is actually one of those wings that broke off, blocking 395. So obviously this road is going to be shut down for a long time. We do have some interviews here of people who witnessed this as it all happened.
I mean, all I could see is just that thing. Okay. It looked like the wing was on fire. It just came across, and all I remember, it kind of just pulled it a little bit up to try like to straighten it out, and it was just, it just bellied right on down. I mean, it just hit the ground, just shot it. I mean, that's all you see is a ball of fire. I mean, it was incredible.
The plane was on fire when it came down?
The plane was on fire.
When you saw it come over the ridge like
yes, and stuff. The plane was on fire and stuff. When he came through the canyon right there, the plane was on fire and stuff on the right side and stuff. The right wing was on fire. And then when he lifted to come up, to pull up, that's when the wing came off and the plane went straight down.
Flames, smoke,
ran down the driveway to see what was going on, to see what side of the street it was on.
Pretty scary, right next to
Yes.
It's so sad. You know, you see guys, and I'm sure somebody lost their life trying to, you know, put out this fire for us, and that's just bravery and courage.
And back here live, I personally have to wonder, I was at that market right next door. If you look up and down the street, there were several buildings right around where this happened. But if you looked in that area, there was an open field. You have to wonder if the pilot of this plane made a last attempt to try to avoid people, to try to avoid buildings, to perhaps stop any more fatalities from happening. Pretty shaken up myself to be very close to this, as it in fact went down, crashed into a field, making that very loud explosion. And this has been quite a past few days for the people here of Walker. You know, on Saturday, this fire broke out miles away from here, and they were looking over a canyon. Didn't expect it to come into town. Then yesterday, all of a sudden, the winds shifted and it ran right into town. These people had only an hour or so to pack up all their belongings and get out of here. Today, it appeared the worst was over. The fire had moved to the north, it had moved to the south. And as they're working to protect this town and some buildings that were around this area, one of the air tankers goes down in a field right across the street, starting another fire, sending flames toward other homes around here. And as we told you a bit earlier, all of those people have been evacuated. And this is the first time that the flames have really raced on the east side of 395. Up until now, most of the flames have remained on the west side of 395. So we're going to stand by here. We're going to try to get down the road, try to get a shot of that wing that is blocking the roadway. Of course, this is going to be quite an investigation as we go through the next couple of days, but we will bring the very latest to you as it comes to us. Covering the story live from Walker, California, Curtis Ming, Channel 2 News.
Curtis, before we let you go, I got a quick question for you. Obviously, in a case like this, normally the Federal Aviation Administration or the NTSB will get involved in the investigation at this point. Have you heard what's happening now as far as the investigation into the actual crash goes? Where do we go from here?
The officials that are out here are busy up there, so they haven't really been able to tell us much. All we know is what we personally saw and what we know of the people around here who actually witnessed it as well. But you know that home video that you saw that was shot by a man? He didn't want us to identify him, but the authorities have already come up to him saying that video will be subpoenaed and it could play a crucial role in the investigation.
And looking at that video as we are right now, Curtis, it looks like the plane is in fact on fire before it crashes. Is that what you could tell from what you saw? It looks like it's on fire there.
That's what witnesses are telling us. They're telling us that the tail, it appears the tail was not intact, and this plane made a dive straight down, and as it was going down, both wings were on fire. Next thing you know, both wings went straight up like that, broke straight off this plane, and as a torpedo, crashed right into the field, bursting into a ball of flames.
All right, Curtis Ming, live from the scene near Walker, California. Thank you very much for that report.
This horrible tragedy. Curtis Ming spoke with some of those residents today. He's in Walker tonight with more on that story. Curtis?
Well, John, you can imagine people were joyous today when they found out their homes were still standing, but that mood changed dramatically, as you can imagine, once that tanker crashed into a field. The air tanker crashed during what looked to be a positive day for the town of Walker. Most of the flames had passed. Residents were allowed back in. Laughter from Mike Bruzesi as he plays with his prized possession train set. His property went untouched.
Yesterday I was in tears, and today I'm feeling pretty good.
Many felt good. This couple returned home with big smiles.
Our home is still here. These guys are here to help us unload and move back into the house.
The Marines even showing up to help unpack cars and move people back in.
When I get off the camera, I'm going to have a really good cry because it's still standing here, and these firemen, everyone did a terrific job.
She did cry after a 24-hour roller coaster of emotion, a roller coaster which would take another turn. 3 of the crew members who worked to save homes are dead. Some around here wondering if the pilot was working to save homes and lives in his final seconds.
I don't know. All I know is that he done a beautiful job because he could have hit that station.
And back here live, of course, that station she is talking about is a gas station which was directly adjacent to the field where the air tanker crashed. Covering the story live from Walker, California, Curtis Ming, Channel 2 News. It caught the town of Walker by surprise.
It came over the hill there. Jeez, couldn't believe that.
Late in the afternoon, the winds picked up. Flames raced toward the community of 1,000. The west side of town evacuated, people loading their cars, grabbing what they could.
You know, I mean, my whole life is right here. I can't believe this.
People lined 395, which runs right through the heart of town, as they watched flames inch toward homes and soon would watch outbuildings catch fire.
There goes a couple more homes right there.
Some residents frustrated, saying firefighters didn't act quick enough.
When the tanker came through here, we knew the fire was close. They should have had the fire trucks, they should have bulldozers coming along the base of that mountain.
Others watched in disbelief.
It's my mom's house, three-story house. It was built in 1975.
Some left hoses running on their roofs. Others refused to let go of the hose and kept watering. Bill Tishner was one of them. When the flames surrounded his house, the firefighters left. Even though he has a bad knee, he stayed.
You know, I didn't want to leave while there was still a chance to save the house.
He used the hose until his water pump caught fire and the water ran dry.
Couldn't see very much except for flames and then smoke.
But determined, he used a small cooler, scooped water out of the hot tub, making trip after trip after trip, putting out the flames.
It probably holds 400 gallons, and maybe a little more, and I probably took 300 out in that little cooler there.
It worked. The fire came within feet of his house, but it never caught fire. You risked your life.
Oh, maybe, yeah, but I saved the house.